Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, February 19th, right at a minute before 7 p.m. So tonight I'm going to be using, let's see, make sure you can see this, The Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Krans, not Kim Carnes, but Kim Krans. The Wild and Unknown Tarot. And this deck is still available. I checked before I started my video and it is still available, fairly reasonably priced. Not cheap, but fairly reasonably priced. I have a tough video tonight and I want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a reading and then giving a trigger warning before I talk about some really tough images and intuitions that I saw, because they are rather grisly and dark, and I want people to be able to enjoy certain messages in this video, and then I will give the trigger warning towards the end and talk about some of the images that I saw. That way, if you're not up to that, you can click out of the video. That said, I always try to be respectful and use language that is milder than other people. However, there's no real way to sugarcoat some of the images that I saw. I will just be talking about that as sensitively as I can. All right, that said, and please keep in mind that I will let you know when I'm going to be talking about that so that you can click out of the video if you like. This is kind of nice. It has a eternity symbol. So this is a deck that I don't use very often. It has kind of some darker images and sort of a darker theme, and I don't always relate to that, but I thought I would break it out tonight and use it. Okay, we're going to talk about the Nancy Guthrie case tonight. And I did smoke cleanse my altar. I have lots and lots of crystals because it's kind of a heavy feel to this reading, so thought I would use lots of rose quartz and some smoky quartz. Wow, three major arcana cards: Strength, the Sun, the Tower. So we may have a breakthrough or some major information come to light before much longer. I see this card, the Strength card, the Sun and the Lion, just reminds me personally of Nancy. I picked out that Lion card with the, I think it's called the Moonology deck. And the Lion reminds me of Nancy. And of course, this lion has a rose in its mouth, a sign of eternity, and the sun behind it. So I think we may have a breakthrough before too long. The police and the FBI and the detectives have made some progress. I did see an image of the detectives finding video surveillance, video footage at Wall W, the store at Wall W. I'm sorry, Wall M, forgive me, you guys. I don't know if I can say it or not. The store, the major chain store, Wall M. I saw detectives seeing some video of a man purchasing a burner phone, because I mentioned in the past that a cell phone is going to yield some really good information for this case, and I did see that. I saw them finding footage. I think that Wall M store is going to be very, very helpful to this case. They have been looking hard and finding some things that are going to help them transform this case. Yeah, they are. I kid you not, because I haven't seen this before today. They are getting to a point, I mean, just look at this. Look at this, which is, I believe, the Five of Swords card, but I read cards also visually. You know, you have to kind of look at them for what they're showing visually. Let me make sure that everybody can see those. I think that you can. Yeah, looks like you can see those pretty well. So, Father of Cups, the Black Swan, Mother of Wands, which is the snake, and cutting in half. So they are gathering information, and like you can't believe. They are FBI, law, I'm just going to say in general, law enforcement is really closing in on evidence. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to close in on evidence. Okay, we have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups. I'm just shuffling and letting some cards naturally fall open. I will always tell you if I purposefully pick a card. If I don't tell you that, it means they are just naturally falling out. Cups, the Hermit. Eight of Cups. So somebody thinks they got away with something, and I saw a gentleman today. I use the word gentleman loosely. I saw a gentleman today kind of like leaning back, relaxing, having a sense of ease that he had gotten away with all this. Okay, he's gotten away with it. He doesn't think his name is part of this case or in the mix, and he feels as though he is relieved and that his gravy train is going to be coming in soon. It's a little stunning to me how a psychopath can do such horrific acts, and then somehow after the fact they feel a sense of relief and release and relaxation. Okay, it's a little bit stunning to me, and that's what I was seeing. I was seeing a psychopath relaxing and having a sense of, for lack of a better word, peace and gratification after a horrible act, and feeling that you got away with a horrible act. Okay, I'm going to pull just a few more. Looks to me like it's 10 of Wands. See, a little bit why I don't always use this deck is it's a little hard to know what it is, but I think that's 10 of Wands. Four of Cups. Look at that rat. 10 of Wands, Four of Cups. Okay, one more. There's the Dying Rose. It's probably a five of Cups. So I'm just going to read some of the images that I see here. Okay. The people who have Nancy or currently know where Nancy is are feeling very nervous. And I did see that there is probably a moving of Nancy, probably a change of location. And I'm going to save more on that till the end. I'm going to save more on that till the end. Okay, let's just pull a few more. I have Three of Pentacles. A tall mountain in the background. A tall mountain in the background of the Three of Pentacles. 10 of Swords. Hang on, I had some cards kind of sticking together, so I'm going to re-pull for the last one. Okay. Okay, there are some people that are involved with this case on the periphery that know the web is closing in on them. Okay, this would be the Eight of Pentacles. So, Three of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, and 8 of Coins. Well, they put a lot of work into it, that's for sure. They put a lot of work into things, and they are beginning to see, some of the people that are involved might be beginning to see that the net is narrowing in on them. Okay, we have Six of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. Oh, I don't know, I'm sorry. This card keeps kind of sticking together. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to pull one more. I smoke cleansed and prepared this deck, but then I got a little bit of water on my hands on it. So I have to make sure I'm really shuffling and that it's going to give me a pure read. Two of Swords. Well, it could be that as the police are looking into past cases and DNA, this is a tree, kind of like DNA. Six of Cups is a card of the past or of childhood or nostalgia. So this almost reminds me of DNA. The Wheel of Fortune is like luck or fate spinning, and Two of Swords. And I know they mentioned they didn't have a lot of luck with DNA. I don't know, at least for right now, you guys, at least for right now, my dear listeners, I'm reading this as they're not going to have a lot of luck with the DNA in this case, which is too bad, because I know that, you know, that touched DNA and sweating. So hopefully they will in the future, but no luck right now. They just need to get the right DNA. I mean, they need to be able to find a decent sample or be able to link it to somebody that is a suspect who was in the area. Oh, boy. You know, there's a guy in this case that just will not cooperate. He's not going to cooperate, and he's not going to give them one little bit of evidence for what they need. So that's going to be really tough. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle a little bit and talk about some other information. I saw something quite interesting on the night that Nancy disappeared, the act that occurred against Nancy. I found some information that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to put the cards aside for just one moment and show that to you. I'm going to bring my iPad onto the screen so that you can see this. So let me make sure. I'm going to stand up and make sure so as I show you this that you can actually see it and I'm not just talking away. So this was Sunday, February 1st, the full moon. Was a full moon in Leo. Okay, that first blue highlighted line. Sunday, February 1st, full moon. What I thought was interesting, and I'm going to expand this part so you can really see it. It says organs influenced by the moon sign. It says heart, aorta, blood pressure, blood circulation. So that was Sunday, February 1st, full moon. This is from Astroseek. Okay. I just thought I would mention that because I thought that was very interesting, and I discovered that the other day when I was looking at the moon phases, and I saw that. Sorry guys, I'm having a little bit of a problem talking tonight. Sometimes that happens when I am in a little bit of a meditative state and when I'm trying to bring some messages through. It also can happen for me when the energy is very heavy. Lighter, kind of more alive energy is easier for me. You know, there are times where I do wonder about the occult or darker forces of this case, especially when I look at that she was taken on a full moon that is associated with the heart. And she is a grandmother. She was taken on a pagan holiday as well, as we accept the death of the grandmother, the crone, as we accept the death of the crone of winter and move into the maiden season of spring. And that pagan holiday is known as Groundhog's Day these days. These days it's known as Groundhog's Day, but it's known as Imbolc for the pagans, Imbolc. And there's a whole story about that, which I'm not necessarily going to tell tonight, but it does concern me that there are those signs there. And of course, coincidences can occur. Ace of Pentacles. Of course, coincidences can occur. And it may very well be that in this case. It could be that there are some dark forces at play with all of this as well. I certainly feel a sense of heavy, heavy energy. All right, so I discussed that. I think the police have made some breakthroughs, some significant breakthroughs with a cell phone. I did discuss the vision of seeing one of the perpetrators, a male perpetrator, really feeling relaxed and happy. He was alone by himself, kind of leaned back saying, phew, I did it, it's over, I won, kind of feeling. What else did I see? I did share with you about the full moon in Leo representing the heart. There's something that's going to be happening with Savannah Guthrie. Something's going on with her. She's got something going on. Two of Cups. Something's going on with her. And I've really been hearing her name more than usual. And I was sensing something's up with her. Something's up. So this is the Nine of Pentacles. Mother of Swords. Okay, she's going to take control of that home or of that house. I believe she is really trying to take control of things, and that she might be seeing things a little bit, how can I say this without incriminating people? She may be seeing certain people in a clear light. She may be starting to feel like, I can't stand to be around that person. I can't stand looking at the person. I'm through with them. There's something going on with her. Judgment. Well, that would make sense. She may be starting to get a sense of who would have benefited, and she may be becoming privy to some information that she did not have in the past. This can also be about knowledge. Ooh, and look, the owl is right under it. I think that's what it is. I think she's discovering more information than she had before, and she's starting to make an assessment of certain people and feel a sense of like she just wants to walk away from them. Like she's waiting for more information, but she almost wants to just walk away from certain people in her life. Something is going on with her. We may hear from her in the next few days. I'm sorry, I didn't do a lot of investigation on that before I started tonight. So, the Devil. Yes, she is starting to see people for the snakes that they might be. The snake or the snakes. She is starting to feel the anger and heartbreak of that. All right, I wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde. We have Mercury retrograde coming up here very, very shortly. I should have looked up the Mercury retrograde date for you. Let me see if I can do that really quickly here. Let me look up Mercury retrograde date for you. Mercury retrograde, February 2026.
According to Farmer's Almanac, Mercury retrograde will begin once again on February 26, 2026, and end on March 20th, 2026.
Okay, so we have about a week until it goes full force. But Mercury retrograde, because it's a planet and its natural movement, we are in the shadow period right now, so it kind of creeps up on us. Mercury retrograde is going to be excellent for this case. It's not a bad thing. We're going to really get some great information. And why is that? So Mercury retrograde is all about re-examining and refocusing. It is about rediscovering. This is a time where information that you've collected, you can go back over it and look again. Things might pop up or pop out that are important. If you've been trying to hide things, things may go awry, and you may have to let the cat out of the bag. If you've been trying to hide it down in the brambles, it may just pop out. So Mercury retrograde is going to be excellent for this case. I myself am an office worker, and I think a lot of us that follow the sun, moon, and stars, we really dread Mercury retrograde because it can affect computer systems, it can affect travel. You have to go back and redo things that you thought you had finished and were good. You find out you have to go back and look at them again. Something wasn't right. So even though it's kind of a pain in our modern world, sometimes Mercury retrograde has profound spiritual impact on our lives, and it gives us an opportunity to look at things again or revisit past relationships, past circumstances. A lot of times if you've broken up with somebody, the ex will show back up at your house or start calling you again. It's a time where friends that have kind of fallen by the wayside may contact you. So it's almost like the past revisited and reinvented. In fact, somebody told me it's anything that starts with an RE. So if you want to go back and re-look at things, that's what Mercury retrograde is about. So we'll be moving into Mercury retrograde, and I wanted to let you know that that's very powerful and very good for this case. Okay, well, I think I've shared what I can for this portion of the reading, and I do want to give a trigger warning right now. And if you are somebody who has a more sensitive, if you're a more sensitive person or you have a sensitive nature, it's probably best to click out, although I am going to do my best to be very delicate when I talk about some images that I saw yesterday. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now. As I was shuffling, I kind of got some cards that were indicating it was probably time to move into that portion of the reading, and I don't like my readings to be too long. So, yesterday, Wednesday, it would have been Wednesday, the 18th of February, it was probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific time. I saw a pretty horrific and felt a very visceral psychic experience and intuition. In fact, it was so vivid and awful that I had to take a break from what I was working on. And what I saw was a fairly young couple who had taken the body of Nancy, who had possession of the body of Nancy. They were talking in their kitchen, and they were, the female said, you know, she is starting to smell. She smells pretty bad. And the male was kind of laughing, and he said, you know, it'd be funny if we styled her hair and did all this crazy stuff so that if the police find her, they'll wonder what the heck was happening. It was kind of this funny thing to him, and they were very arrogant. I had a supreme, like this supreme arrogance and immaturity, not only spiritually blinded to their actions, but felt somehow right in what had taken place or what had been done to Nancy. Did not care. Obviously, it was something they were laughing about or making fun of. The scary part for me was that the reason she was telling him about the odor was because, and I had gotten a very sharp intuition about him saying, I need to go sharpen my knife. I need to go sharpen my knife. I need to get my knife and sharpen it. And what I knew from that was that he was going to be removing that item within Nancy, there it is, supporting the blood flow. He was going to be removing that item, the pacemaker, from Nancy's body. And I feel that he is going to access the body or has access to the body. I still feel very strongly that she is in a more mountainous or elevated area. I feel that she is obviously hidden close to the ground, wrapped up and hidden close to the ground. I do believe quite strongly that once the pacemaker is removed, that he may be, I'm not 100% sure, but he may be taking the body and floating it in water or making it float in water. It was very disturbing and visceral. I wouldn't be sharing this message with you if it wasn't for another tarot reader that I watched. She said something along similar lines that let me know it wasn't just me seeing something horrific. This was literally something that could be taking place. So I'm sorry, this is very hard for me. I actually was not going to share this, and I was not going to make this video because, simply put, it was just too much for me. I do believe that due to the media exposure and the talk about the drone, I believe it has caused the couple or the people who are aware of where she is to extract that from Nancy's body and to dispose of her in a different way. I did see like a retention pond. Unfortunately, I believe this may be on private property. So it could be that the location she is on private property. She was hidden away kind of in a cave-like area. I believe it's in an area that is kind of a celebrated area, like a tourist location. Again, I am not a tracking psychic. I do not do tracking. I do not do remote viewing. I am just a kind of a garden variety psychic, but these images came to me very strongly. I have to be honest with you. I don't know at this point if we are going to be able to find her. And it makes me very sad. I do believe that we will have some help from above. I do believe that. But the image that I saw was so gruesome, and the attitude of these people, the male and female, was so unbelievably cold, as if they had, I don't know, they had a right to get rid of this person. It was all kind of a novelty or funny to them. It was quite shocking. It's quite shocking to sense and feel something like that firsthand. Two individuals. I have to remember that the police are making progress. So there was a lot of swords there, so I think you know what that means. So this is very heavy for me, and I am an empath, and I kind of don't want to talk about this anymore tonight, but I will say that this is only a psychic reading. I don't know any facts. I don't know anybody on this case. Everything here is allegedly, and things that I have seen that are my opinion. That said, I could be wrong, and Nancy could very well be found alive. Some people have said that they've taken her to Mexico, and that because you can get medication over the counter there, perhaps they are giving her medications and keeping her there. Tower. Queen of Cups. Tower, Queen of Cups. Six of Wands. I'm just not sure. I don't really get a sense that she is in Mexico. I have always had a sense that she is north of where she lives. And I have seen that in the cards over and over again. Okay, well, this is a difficult reading to know how to close out. That's why I have like a million crystals around this and did a lot of smoke cleansing before this. It's just very heavy and very sad. So I will close out tonight. I will say, hug your little kitties or pets or whoever is with you tonight, and keep yourselves safe. Good evening.